So this document itself has not been agreed upon by both of you.
Right.
Okay.
The parties haven't reached agreement about the universe of ballots that will be considered. The universe of the absentees that will be considered. And if I can express my understanding what the dispute is, it's in two parts. First, there are statewide, and I don't know how many are in Anoka or in Sandy County, but there are 1,346 ballots plus or minus that election officials such as yourselves have put into pile 5, those that are by definition erroneously rejected for a reason other than a statutory reason for rejecting it. And as to those ballots, that is the universe of ballots. And again, I don't know how many of them fall into the two counties we're concerned with today, but those are the universe of ballots that should be counted. But that's where it should come from. The second part of that, and the Coleman folks disagree with that, the second part,
Because there's some of
Let
me finish.
Yeah, let me finish, and then I'll come back. Okay.
The second piece of the dispute has to do with 654 ballots statewide. And again, I don't know how many, if any, fall within Anoka or Sandy counties that the Coleman folks say should be added to pile 5 that election officials such as yourselves have not put in. And as to those, we object to any of them being looked at.
All right. With regard to the 1,300, that's what we're here to look at. So there's no need for any characterizing as wrongly rejected. It's a gray area, we don't know, and that's why we're here today. With regard to the 650, though that is the supplemental list that was sent in yesterday at 4:30, I believe it was. And if those are rejected, it's going to be difficult to move forward. We're going to have to have them officially reject them in writing, and we're going to have an incident report filled out in its entirety, and then we're going to have to figure out whether or not we can move forward at all.
Well, let me cut to the chase. We're not going to agree to any of the 654.
Okay.
So if that's,
We'll want that in writing.
well, I'll give it to you in writing right now if you want.
I think it was
Good.
Okay.
I'd be interested in hearing from you.
Yeah. Let me just ask.
Sure.
So you're saying as it's a deal breaker that the 650 are not included. You're saying there's no way that you're going to consider the 650. So do we even move forward? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, we're willing to move forward on the ones that the election officials themselves have said were wrongly rejected. The 654 is from left field. I don't know where they came from, and they haven't told us. And beyond that, the deadline was 3 o'clock yesterday, and you're saying they came at 4:30, so they're late. And again, I don't know what's on your spreadsheets, Sandy and Anoka County, so I don't even know what your position is as to that.
I think they had 6 Sandy ballots on the 654.
Okay.
And we looked at them, one person voted in person, 2 were not registered, had no registration card, and then there's 3 signature issues. Works match of signatures that we have.
That's a nice scene.
That's a nice thing.
And how about in Anoka?
Yeah, I have not looked at the list. So.
Those shouldn't be an issue. They shouldn't be for discussion here.
But my understanding is that there is not an agreement to even review those at that point from your campaign.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to figure out here, if we can even proceed. If you're saying, if you're telling me that the 650 is a deal breaker, you're telling me there's no way we're going to look at it. I don't want to waste anybody's time here.
It's going to be hard to proceed if they don't want to look at these ballots because, I haven't seen all of them, but my understanding is that there are some good arguments that these were not rejected. And we should be looking at all of them if we're going to look at any of them.
Those are for a contest.
Not necessarily.
Well, That's been your position all along until currently. Supreme Court's made clear once before, yourselves, the election officials, and the parties for this exercise. Plus your link.
So I guess if we don't have an agreement and we can't proceed, there's nothing I can do.
Why don't we adjourn for 3 to 5 minutes?
Sure.
Come back and just make sure that's everybody's position.
That would
Everybody's
be-
come here. Let's make sure that.
And my
that's what we want.
understanding, if I can just, so I make sure I communicate this
Yes.
clearly to the Secretary of State, is that your position is we are not going to look at the additional 650. Your position is if we can't look at the 650, we are not going to look at the 1,300.
And
Or,
just-
right.
statewide.
And just to remind you, the Supreme Court has issued an order that you guys must sign a waiver. And you guys must force them to sign a waiver if you're gonna reject these 650 ballots or whatever it is here in Anoka County, I say.
With the portion of these.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I agree with that position.
I don't know.
I'll give you 3 to 5 minutes to talk to your camps and come back and let me know what your position is, and we'll either stop or.
First, Gary.
The Franken campaign is prepared to have the pile 5 ballots on your spreadsheet looked at,
Okay,
but we're not prepared to deal with the 654.
okay.
Well, first of all, let me clarify, because I was mistaken, that they were all, the 650 were submitted to the Secretary of State by the deadline yesterday, by the board.
Okay.
Rule 19 on the list you handed out discusses the signing of the waiver issue and rejection. You can refer to that. If the 650 are not, the proportion are not included in this discussion, I don't see how we can move forward. So they are. And we're willing to hang out in Anoka County, have some breakfast while the court decides.
I also understand that at the Elk River location, the Coleman people did proceed with the pile 5 ballots, even though Franken campaign objected to the 654 considered. But your position here is different today in Anoka.
I don't think that's the case.
That's my information.
That's our position.
So you're blowing it up?
I don't know what that means.
Are you walking away?
Your position has been all along, we should count every potential ballot. That's all.
Our position is every ballot that the election officials have identified as having been erroneously rejected. Your 654 doesn't fall into that category.
Both campaigns were asked to submit lists of potentially rejected ballots by 3 p.m. yesterday. We did that.
Didn't do it to us.
You did not. I just don't know how we proceed.
The Coleman people
We're
can't
ready
figure
to
out how to
proceed,
proceed. We are too.
We're ready to proceed, but if we leave here, you're coming to Cambridge, we're not coming back down here.
Just
Fine. I think we should start with the pile 5s on your spreadsheet.
But unless they're all included, we aren't moving forward. But I can't be any more clear than that.
Well, I take the Coleman campaign at its word. They're not proceeding. They're not going to move forward.
Okay. Okay. That would be the understanding, and I will contact the Secretary of State's office to let them know what the positions are, and from there.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good drive.